No, God's timing is perfect, and He always keeps His promises. How was I able to fit all the animals? Ah, good question. But fitting the animals on the ark was actually not too difficult. You see, God knew just how big the ark would need to be, so His instructions were perfect to fit all the animals and all the needed food and supplies. And thankfully, God didn't send the largest of each kind. How many animals are on the ark? That's a good question. There are about 1,400 kinds of animals on the ark, and this works out to be fewer than 7,000 animals. I don't remember the exact numbers. I put my son Shem in charge of keeping track of those details. Good question. These two birds are here because my lovely wife, Zara, who's always been good with animals, wanted to train them to fetch items and carry messages. These were the best of all the birds she tried. Right? I don't know what we'll do with them yet, but I'm sure they'll come in handy.
Examine the ducks.
Oh, I should know this one. Imsana's listening. We've been married for a little over 550 years. Has it been that long already? My, how time flies. Oh, you can see reminders of our anniversaries on that shelf over there. Imsara, my dear, you do love that letter. What was the world like before the flood? Ah, good question. When I was a young boy, much of the world was beautiful, and many people still loved and served the Creator. But the generations that followed grew extremely corrupt and violent. The world became such a dreadful place. God is now washing it clean. Ah, good question. Right now, I'm documenting some of the terrible things that happened before the flood. I need to warn my children and their children after them what can happen if they do not follow the Creator and His ways. That's a good question. My favorite. There are so many to choose from. Ooh, I like the tiny hovering bird that can fly in all directions, even backwards. My wife, she likes that tall, long-necked brown and white animal with the fuzzy knobs on its head.
The fuzzy knob right here.
What's my least favorite kind of animal? I don't know. All of God's creatures are special in some way. But if I had to choose right now, I would say that noisy bird that bores holes in wood all the time. Oh, why did I let Jim talk me into putting that aviary next to the living quarters?
10. There you go.
Well, God gave me the basic instructions to build the ark. gopher wood, 300 by 50 by 30, and that guided all that we did. I've been building boats most of my life, but of course never anything this large. So it took me a while to plan the construction, and there were some difficulties to overcome. But God is wise and knows everything, and He provides all we need.
11.
How long did it take to build the ark? Well, after our boys grew up, God told me His plans. He said the ark would be for me, my wife, our sons, and our sons' wives. It took us several decades to build the ark, but that was after years of designing it, collecting supplies, and preparing the site. Oh my, local flood? Who told you that? God said He was going to wipe out all flesh that lived on land. If He was speaking only of a local flood, it seems like God would have told me to move instead of spending decades building this ark.